Get time.
Come up through the struggle, not too many get to tell. Got up and shook it off every time we ever fail.
Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
Transportation make you happy when your life a living hell. Sirens jump behind us praying we don't go to jail.
Window skimp, 2 attempts, handed bands over. Sicko hit, shot and missed, 2 to stand over.
Turn up.
Breadwinner, huh? Look who in the building. Let me check my Instagram, I might be at 1 million.
And I'm in.
Stone, you out your mind, I'm out mine, bet not flinch wrong. I'm on my grind, rock supplying like the Flintstones. Reputation on the line and the clips long. They 9 to 5 slang at 9, you get blitzed on.
To go for it, I'm like, yeah. I want to go for it. And he was like, all right, we're going to go for it. He called the timeout. And I'm like, we finna get this first down.
You guys took over the game after that. Do you feel like that kind of pumped everybody up?
It did. You know, it gave our defense more confidence to stop those guys. It gave our offensive line great confidence. It just gave the whole team confidence. Even the coaches were pumped up. So we just got to do that week in, week out. You know, we can't stop. I feel the defense just carrying our game.
Yo, welcome to Mike on Sports. I go by the name of Michael Gross, and I am the host, the captain, the El Capitan of this motherfucker. What's going on to everybody out there, and welcome. Thank you for joining me. Today we'll be talking about Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens QB. Lamar Jackson put on an excellent performance yesterday in Seattle, traveling to Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks. And in that game, Lamar Jackson was electrifying. And one thing that stood out to me in that game before we break down Lamar's performance is the belief that John Harbaugh has in Lamar Jackson. And it was evident in that 4th and goal play when he asked him, do you want to go for it? Do you want to go for it? And Lamar looked at him, hell yeah, coach, I want to go for it. Let's go. And they went out there, and we all know they converted by scoring a touchdown on that play. And the reason why I bring that up, sometimes in sports and sometimes when you're an athlete, you need that certain push, that certain fire starter, for lack of a better word. And to me, that belief that John Harbaugh displayed in Lamar Jackson really could have pushed him and pushed that team forward yesterday in that game. That game was a very competitive game until I believe that play was 13-13 late in the 4th quarter, and they ran that play, got a touchdown, and I believe before that they scored a interception by Marcus Peters that they just acquired from the Los Angeles Rams, which proved to be a good pickup so far. But back to Lamar Jackson. In that game, man, what more can you say, man? Put on a show. The weather conditions wasn't that great. Only threw for 143 passing yards with a 45% completion percentage. But if you watch that game, you will see that there were 3 or 4 passes that were dropped by his receivers, and could have had a little bit to do with the completion percentage and the total yardage, but he compensated for the lack of passing by ran for 14 carries with 112 yards in that game. Really could have ran for more, in my opinion, if he would have had the right cleats. If you watch that game, you would see him fall, slip and slide all over the place, and I really didn't have his footing in that game. But what I want to get to is, has Lamar Jackson arrived? And I believe he has. I believe if you watch him in the progression from year 1 to year 2, you can see a conscientious effort to improve the passing by him, and also by the play calling and the coaching staff. Also, he is just becoming like must-see TV. Like, every week I find myself wanting to watch a Lamar Jackson game just to see what he does and what kind of improvisation that he has in the pocket. He's becoming somebody that you can't take your eyes off of, similar like to Michael Vick in the early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? And maybe as a 22-year-old, he's more far along than Michael Vick. And I want people to like realize that the kid is only 22. And I hate to call him a kid, you know what I'm saying? But when I was 22, it was still things that I needed to work on. And I'm pretty sure he's the same way. But 22 years old, been in the league 2 years, coming out of Louisville under one of, my opinion, one of the good college coaches and one of the coaches that can really, really groom quarterbacks, and that's Bobby Petrino. Heisman Trophy winner, we all know. And just taking the league by storm. Last season, got thrusted in after Joe Flacco couldn't really produce, and he led that team to the playoffs where he ran into um, some adversity. We seen the bad game that he had and the lack of passing that was displayed in that game. And this year, through 6 weeks of the season, he may be the clear cut MVP front runner. You know what I'm saying? He may be uh uh right now Patrick Mahomes sidelines, and you got to think those games are going to affect him. And if he keeps doing what he's doing, I know he has the Patriots up next, but if you really look at the Patriots schedule, the only team that they really face that could potentially pose a big time threat is Buffalo, and we know Buffalo offense is not the offense of the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are they find a way to put points on the board. They put 30 up against the Seattle yesterday, and going into Seattle with that crowd noise and the 12th man and all that, you really got to take your hat off to what the Baltimore Ravens did and what Lamar Jackson was able to accomplish. Um, Also, in that game, he was going against maybe at the time the front runner for MVP. We can't imagine that kind of added pressure that added to Lamar and the whole thing. I mean, going up against Russell Wilson, somebody you probably grew up watching, somebody you probably grew up admiring, somebody that you probably grew up just taking notes from. You know what I'm saying? And going against him in Seattle and to come away with a performance like that, I think that it's time to put him maybe not in the same class as the young phenom Patrick Mahomes, but definitely in that next tier of great up and coming quarterbacks like with Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. And I know I just said don't put him in there, but Lamar Jackson, a lot of good young quarterbacks in the league, and slipping my mind right now. But Kyler Murray has really impressed me this year. I didn't think he was going to be that good, but Kyler Murray looks like he's every bit of what they thought he was going to be. Even Daniel Jones, don't say no, he has an up and down year, but the way he throws the ball gives me hope and gives me a sense of confidence when you think about him. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's only been a starter for 2 years now, but he's undefeated as a starter. So you got to start putting Deshaun Watson in that category. And speaking of that category, a lot of guys were quick to jump the gun last year in putting Baker Mayfield, saying he's going to be this and that. Honestly, if we had a look, I would say Baker Mayfield has a better overall supporting cast than Lamar Jackson has, and Lamar Jackson is doing more or less. Could you imagine Lamar Jackson with Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, with those kind of weapons on offense? I mean, it would be, in my opinion, the Ravens, if they had that kind of offense, maybe we'd be undefeated right now. But in Sam Darnold, I know Sam Darnold just came back from mono, and he looks like he's going to be the goods too. But right now, I would put Lamar Jackson over that guy. Even the guy from Josh Allen from Buffalo, Lamar Jackson, all those guys were picked above Lamar. You know what I'm saying? And Lamar is doing what he has to do, man. Like really, really taking the lead by storm. And I think it's time that we all pay homage and like not pay homage, but starting to take notice of what Lamar is doing. Also, when you look at the I know 1,650 yards for the season, nothing to Steve's at with 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions and a 67.1 QBR, which ranks 6th overall. So that tells me he's getting the job done when it comes down to it. The elite level, man. I mean, I'm gonna end this video by saying that Lamar Jackson is absolutely, when you think about the elite level this year, he's playing at a elite level. Maybe not passing the ball, but when you combine the running, when you combine the improvisation, the scramble ability, all the things that plays into being a good quarterback, the big plays we seen yesterday do a 50-yard bomb to the Brown kid. So he's definitely raising his game, and also by doing so raising the level of his team. And I think it's about time that we all take notice in Lamar Jackson. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and you can expect more and more Mike on Sports. I should be coming out with a NBA game preview later on the night. We're going to talk boxing, baseball, football, basketball, anything that's popping in the world of sports. I'm trying to be on it. So I appreciate everybody who joined, who watched the video, and smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.